Michael's death now forced him into the role. So now Dan is struggling with a few things. He's struggling with doubts about how ready he is and the lack of experience. I think he had tension with the senior executives as well, like who question I think Rena and Richard are questioning his leadership. Then I think there were negative press leaks as well. So that were leaking out their shaky finances in NutriSelect and his inexperience. Then the low employee morale. Because after the leadership change, I think the employees were kind of low on morale to work and everything. So the case generally drops the question, what's the best way for Dan to turn this entire situation around?
Okay. All right, thank you. Who else want to throw additional light on the case study before we go into the questions? Who else read the case so that at least we know where we are? And
Good morning, sir.
good morning, Mr. Adunaya.
Good morning, everyone. So I read it, but I joined just a few minutes ago while John was providing his own summary. So I'm not sure of, so I can't say that what I'll say is different from what he has shared. But I just wanted to
Just give your
respond.
own version. I think we'll be fine.
Okay. So my version is well, there's um is a Ratchek who has worked in the organization for a while. He has played different roles, and he was, driving growth where he was, and so he was cited by senior management and by the board for the succession plan, and they had a 5-year plan where he was eventually going to be the CEO. So they attached him with the CEO to mentor him through the process. So a short while after that, the CEO passed on, and so since he was already in line for succession, they appointed him above other people who may have been considered. We don't know whether that was the position of the management, but from their own body language, they had assumed that they were also contenders. And so he's trying to see how we can manage the accelerated growth, since it happened before he was prepared for it, and also manage his team members, the ones who maybe feel some sense of entitlement to that position that he currently has. And so one of the challenges he faced was um, he saw an article, and he realized that some aspects of those articles, or some aspect of that article rather, must have come from an inside source, because they made reference to their finances, and that's one he knows that only someone inside may have leaked that. And they also made reference to the fact that he may not be prepared for that role, making reference to his age and also his experience. And so that's shifted him in a particular way. He also tried to bring the topic around, okay, this conversation we are seeing out there, has some elements of someone internal, sharing this information, and there was a response to it by a particular power block. So which means that he's already experiencing there's some fraternity happening within his own senior management. But the good part of it is that he has the board support, because he called his board mentor who assured him of the board support. So that's a good thing for him. So he's now thinking, okay, how can he turn this around? The fraternity that is happening, how can he break through that and bring everybody on board? Should he take a very tough position, or should he be more conciliatory? How can he ensure he also has the staff along? Because the previous MD, like the final statement that John made. The previous MD had the plan of not releasing staff, so he also has to let them know that despite the fact that they're not performing as much, he doesn't have that intention. But how can he build that trust among employees so they know that their job is safe, so he can get the most from them, So basically, how can he embody that role in a way and manner that he can drive the organization to where he feels that they need to be.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adunayo. So we are trying to unearth what goes on underneath what we see. And it's one of the heart of being. And the cover article I wrote for today's class, so talking about myself and another project manager and the differences in what we are becoming in life. And it's the real heart of being. So when I've been quoting Dr. Sam Adeyemi's quote, success is who you are. Success is not what you do. Success is not your degree. Now, so we've been doing a lot on being so far since January. I know quite a number of people joined midway, but we are always being somebody. We are always being somebody. And that being somebody is generated from a context. Being somebody is generated from a context or what we call assumptions, frame of reference. We are always being somebody. Now, it shouldn't be so academic to you. Sometimes you will just see that you are in a job and some kind of thoughts are just, they are running under you, but it's like you are not aware. You are aware, but you are not aware that you are not living consciously. So it's just coming to you now. This guy hates me. Then it's on top of that, this guy hates me. I think I better just start thinking of leaving this company. I think the system is biased against me. Then on top of that, I think the system is biased against me. Before you know, the next thought, I better just start, or I will just start behaving like this. Now, the new behavior, sometimes practiced a while, you don't know where it came from. Now, we've done in time past, I can't remember whether March or April, Inner Conversation by Neville Goddard. Now, you are just thinking of something a spouse is doing to you or a relationship or something in the office, then you begin to think of what you will do. Now, before you know what you will do, another thing comes on it. Now, so what happens at the end of the day? There are layers of assumptions that form who we are being, and more often than not, it has become a persistent way of being. I watched on Netflix yesterday a series. I've not finished it. I did 3 hours. Very shocking to myself. Now, the title of this thing is Monsters. So I was going through BBC yesterday, and they said the Menendez were denied parole. I said, who is the Menendez? Then I went to read it properly online. 2 brothers they were watching a movie in 1989, and they just saw the title of the movie is The Billionaire's Rich Kids, and how the kids killed their parents because their parents wanted them to be successful at all costs. And they were very angry that the parents were driving them mad. This, you have to come first, you have to do this. And within a week, these 2 brothers planned the execution of their father and mother. It's online, BBC yesterday. And in California, 1989. So they now said there's now a documentary on it. After reading the story for 1 hour online, I went online to watch it, the two brothers. Now, it looks like auto-suggestion. But that's how, at the subconscious level, different things are driving us, and we're accepting them. So, but once we begin to become more self-aware, 18 and 21-year-old brothers, and in 1 week they planned it, the movie starts showing how they just got up, drove their car, went, bought the guns, and their father and mother were laughing in the city, watching, what's the name of this thing? And they just came and entered the city and gave the father 12 bullets. This is a real story, not the second parole, the judgment on whether the senior brother, yesterday was the younger brother, whether he'll be allowed for parole in California. I think the senior brother will be next week, Friday. Now, all of these auto-suggestions, they just go on, but we accept them. Now, if you look at the soil, the way the agricultural soil works, we plant a seed in it. We don't really know what constitutes the soil. Now, why in some soils, the seed refuses to grow? That is who you are being. It is the same weather, the same rain, the same everything. Some soils will allow potato to grow, some will not allow it. Some soils will allow corn, some will not allow it. Now, much of what today, next week, and maybe a week after, much of what I'll be talking about is from Tracy Goss' books, The Last Word on Power. Everything. My article that I wrote there is from looking at myself and recalling some experiences after trying to understand, uncovering the source of who you are, which is your winning strategy, which also has limitations because it works in different contexts. So that soil that allowed potato to grow may not allow tomatoes to grow. Now, one of the things Tracy Goss begins to show in The Last Word on Power is how to, first of all, see what is in your soil. See what is in your soil. So what is making you, so being is what is determining where you are coming from. What is determining it? Something is pushing all of us. Something, we see something in the environment, we blame the environment. But no, there is something in us interpreting the environment. There is something in us. When there was, I talked about a lady in my Facebook group, I think 2 weeks ago, and I said, she was going through a pain in a situation. She didn't say, why is this person causing me this pain? She said, who am I being that this thing is causing me so much pain? So sometimes I immerse myself in international news a lot. And recently, sometimes I would just, when I tune on to BBC or one of these things, I just say, wow. Like tears wants to come out of my eyes, just seeing the destruction that is going on in Ukraine. In 2 days, as I was reading this article, the chapter on Uncovering Who You Are by Tracy Goss, I said, who am I being that this thing in Ukraine? I said, a Ukrainian dying pains me more than a North Korean soldier fighting on the side of Russia dying. Pains me more than a Russian soldier dying. Then I was lying on the bed, and for about 10 minutes, I kept thinking, I said, I am being that Ukraine is the victim of Russia's aggression. I said, so it's a position I've taken that I haven't questioned. If I question the position, the situation can just flip. I remember talking the story of FCT Minister Wike 3 or 4 weeks ago. How just something said about him in church changed the way the way I felt about him. Now, all of this goes on under subconscious radar. We are not even aware. Our reactions in the office, the assumptions we make, the beliefs we hold, it takes God sometimes to really even get to the root of some assumptions. But what we want to try to do today is using real life stories today, tomorrow, next week, and all that, to begin to see what is bringing the experiences that we have. And one of the things we'll be looking at, how people change jobs sometimes, and the success they have in one job, they are unable to experience it in another job. Now, the success, Dan Sestak, so he was doing well in different departments, which they spotted. Now, but he's been told to be at CEO, to be the CEO at CEO level. Now, in this position, sometimes who he was being in all of that will not give him success. Who he was being, he's been a star that the board and management tapped him as CEO designate. They saw CEO in him. But who he was being in that past success is not likely. Sometimes you go into entrepreneurship and you just find out after 6 months who you were being as a regional manager, a regional director in Shell, won't scratch the surface of entrepreneurship. That being will take you into poverty. All right for my introduction. So we'll just go into the questions. I don't want to do too much talk this morning. So question number 1, you are Dan Sestak. Now, so put yourself in Dan Sestak. Who were you being in the wake of the death of the former CEO? It's open. There is no right or wrong answer, but much of life is created in conversations. So let's talk. The floor is open.
Okay, sir.
Go
So
on.
this is in relation to the article.
Yes.
Okay. So looking at Dan, I was being unsure, or he was being unsure, or he was being or he doesn't consider himself ready for that role. He feels that the original time that he was given was the most appropriate time for him to prepare for that role. So he is acting like he's not worthy he's not yet worthy of that role. He's still acting like the former person who was in mentorship, preparing to get into that role in another 4 years.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. If I just hold on there. So the next question says, who are you being after reading the article in the newspaper on page 2 about your performance? Who are you being now?
So from taking it from Dan's perspective, Dan is he's still taking it as a measurement of his performance. He's taking it to himself. He's still interpreting that article from the position of a person who is yet to fully embody the role. He's taking it from that same personality, from that same being.
Okay.
And the reason why I said so, it's his analysis. Well, not his analysis, his consideration, his thought process, how we should handle the team, all of that is still being drawn from that place of uncertainty. You know, like he's still unsure. He's still trying to navigate the role he has entered into. You know, he hasn't fully embodied. He hasn't become the MD or the CEO, basically.
Okay, just one more question before you go. Okay, how does the thinking, these are part of the old guard, shape who you are being?
Yes, and that was actually a very interesting question, because I tried to take that and just juxtapose it on my own self and in past experiences. Because what we have learned so far since we started this at the start of the year is that you know how you interpret the current situation is very important. And if you move from if you don't move from a place of reaction to creation, you will always get the previous experience. So I think that Dan is moving from a place of reaction. He's reacting. He has a mindset of who these people are, that these are the old guard. And so he's interacting with them from that position of, oh, this is the old guard. So there's really no different experience he would have of them if that is where he's building from, if that's where he's creating from, or that's where he's reacting from. But if he creates a new scenario, which is this person is the CFO, this person is I'm not sure the lady, I'm not sure what her role is, but I know Richard is the CFO. I'm not, but these people are who they are, and creates a different a different or use different tools in that creation, he definitely would have a different experience of what it is that they are doing. Because they may just be responding or they may just be reacting from who they are, which might not necessarily be the old guard mentality he's ascribing to them. It may just be really how they view the situation. But his own analysis of it will always have that bias of old guard. And so, in whatever strategy he requires to handle them, will always be driven by the look or by the label he has given them, which is the old guard.
Okay, thank you very much. So combining question 3 and 4, who wants to come in to add anything to what Mr. Adunayo has said? The floor is open. This is something all of us do, all of us, all humanity. So we're working in places now. We have the entire office staff categorized in our being, and we deal with them not from who they are, but from whom we have categorized them to be. The floor is ours. We all read the article. Are we waiting for one another? How does the thinking, these are part of the old guard, shape who you are being? How does your interpretation of the looks of the faces of the people shape who you are being?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Johnny.
I think that limits our perspective. It's kind of restrict us. So if we, instead of looking them like the old guy, like the last speaker said, it's seeing them that these people hold different positions and opening our perspective and trying to understand from their own perspective. I think there was a section we have done uh previously. It's instead of seeing them as the old guard, it's trying to actually listen to them to understand where they are coming from, to help us to re-examine how we are actually managing the company. So it's basically it's limiting the CEO's perspective. That's how I see it. But if they can have a more open mind and reflect and rethink on, is this thing they are saying, is it true? What can I learn from it? What can I do about it? How can I change it? Then they won't see it as a problem, but they will rather see it as a solution. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Who else has anything to say on that? This class is quiet today. This for me is the heart of being. So, Queen, the floor is yours.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Okay. For me, if I was one, I would try to make them feel like my mentors, since they are the people who have been on ground before I came on board. I would give them that impression that I want to learn from them. Okay, actually, I would like to learn from them, but I'll give them the impression that they're the ones leading me now. So I would take it one step at a time. Make sure that I interact with each person individually with that impression, so that it will help them to be more relaxed. Because if I make them feel like I am here to lead them, I'm here to lord it over them, I think I will have a battle in my hands. So I'll make it be like I am here to learn from you, so they'll all calm down. So my being now will be like a friendly being to calm the tension in the room. That's my side. Thank you.
Queen, okay, hold it before you go. So what you have said is 100% correct, what you will do. But you are talking about what you will do. But we are trying to uncover who you are being right now, which many times we are not very aware of. Now, in the Supermind, Howard talks about unless you are able to get to know the things that drive you, that he gives different examples. You will change work many times. You will change marriage many times because those same way of being will bring you to an end abruptly. Now, so you have sometimes we've been unconscious, but it has not caused us this kind of problem, or it's not. This is just going to expose flaws in the construction of ourselves, what we call our being. So you say these are the old guards. That's the way your mind just says those are one of the old guards talking. You are the CEO. So now on a one-on-one meeting, you are talking with an old guard. How do you think that conversation will go?
Well, from the article, it shows that there's envy in the air, and I, being Dan, I know that. Also, the article says that he has been scaling for a long time. That was why he was put into the internship for the CEO. That any position he takes up, he performs very well. So that was why he was nominated for that CEO training. And now suddenly it happened before the expected date. So I feel he's more confident in himself because he knows that he can perform. But I feel that the article that was written in the post was from the point of envy. So I know that, yes, I'm interacting with people that are envious of me and feel I don't deserve my position. So since they have that belief that I don't deserve my position, I will come up with the idea that they should help me deserve the position by interacting with them on that ground. So I'll make them also believe that yes, I don't think I deserve this, but can you help me do better? Because if I make them feel that I deserve it, so they don't have any right having their opinion that I don't, it will cause a friction. So I will have to be a person, even though that actually I know I deserve the position, but I know that they feel I don't deserve the position. So I will now turn the table a little bit around and give them that impression that I have the same opinion with them, that I don't deserve it. So how can I deserve it since I'm already in a position? So I'll now hear from their point of view because they will want to school me, feeling that they are the old guards. They want to direct me. They want to give me all the long advices. And one thing about advice is that you don't take everything. You select what you want, make use of it, and discard the rest. So that's my own point of view.
Okay, thank you very much. Who has something to add? The floor is open. Much of life is created in conversations, not in being quiet. Okay, you have something to say?
Good morning, sir. I
Good
honestly,
morning.
I didn't read the article, so I don't really want to say much. I just wanted to see if I can catch up. Then, yeah, I'll be able to contribute appropriately. I'm sorry. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
all right. So who read the article? Many of us didn't read it. We don't know what we're talking about. Mhm. Was too long. So you are a manager. Okay, so you are looking at, let's say you are a manager in a place or whatever. It could be manager, it could be you are reporting to a manager. So your brain has the tendency to classify people. Then you react from that classification. You react from, I've worked in a company before where I believe that the HR manager was one of those who wanted me to resign. And I know how it shaped my relationship with the HR manager. I know how just a meeting, how I feel just to call for a meeting with the HR manager. Because in who I was being, I just had it. Now, none of these positions, if you read my book, Realizing Mental Resilience, none of these positions are positions of certainty. What has happened is that we invented them. But this is the fallacy of life. We invented them, but now they are giving us results that are not in the direction of what we want. But really, if we are to create from the end, which being is really intentional intentional being is, I am going to decide who they are from what I want at the end. Is it making sense? I don't know if I don't want to be too esoteric. They told Paul that too much knowledge. So I read a lot on this subject because 2025 is for really reinventing myself. So I am to decide what I want to call them from what I want at the end of the journey. Not what I'm seeing. Now, what I'm seeing is all guesswork. Everybody is guessing. Everything you have to say about Tinubu is guesswork. Everything you have saying about Donald Trump is guesswork. Your mind is just creating them. But you are not intentional. When you become intentional, you want to take a different position because you know that the one you took before, you invented it unconsciously. These are part of the old guard. Now, what does old guard signify? Who wants to help me?
That's the old guard is signifying the old regime, the ones who are against my appointment, who would have preferred if Michael was still in power.
Right. So, and so it's like from my being, I'll be coming from where? These are my enemies. Now, none of these things are seen. the way life works is funny. So you are in the office, none of these things are seen. Nobody knows where you are coming from. Nobody knows even what we call the end goal. The end goal for you is not the end goal for everybody. It's not seen. When you read a newspaper article that the economy is going down, and sometimes without thinking, you started thinking of new things. Oh, you just read that Microsoft is dropping 9,000 workers. And the writer of the article, it goes on to make his own meaning. Started saying how that the global IT industry is going to drop 20,000 or 2 million ICT personnel. Then you just remember that you're ICT, and your confidence drops. Then tomorrow you are in the office, that thing, you have forgotten it. But it's now, when you read it, you gave some interpretations. Those interpretations created new interpretations because you brought them to the work scenario and a new work environment came out. Then you walked into that work environment. Now, all of our reality is that way. All of our reality. Reality as we think it is doesn't exist. It doesn't. 1,000,000% it doesn't. The reality we have of life, of Nigeria, of UK, of whatever, of the company we work, it doesn't exist. But this is how we are creating it. And so sometimes we create it in a way that it brings barrier between us and where we are going to, or the goals we want to achieve. If you look at the commentators, what is one of the things, the end goal? You need a senior management that will work with you. I can't remember which book I was reading. He said, they said this and you say this. He said, keep it at that level. Don't get out. He said, always stay in self-awareness and don't stay in the world of interpretations. Don't stay in the world of labels. They said you are stupid and you said you are mad. That's all they said. Then go on. Now, when you put the layers of interpretation, I know they don't want me in the company. No, this thing, it takes a lot of practice, honestly, but I won't lie. 2025 in personal development has been my best year. I'm not doing 7% or 5% of what, if I'm asked where I want to be. But just the simple fact that sometimes I'm just thinking of something. This money is 2 million naira to pay at the end of the month. I might just not pay it too. And if I don't pay it, this is what I will do. Then I'll just catch myself. So you're already preparing not to pay it. Jane, the floor is yours.
I just want to say some of things that I kind of draw from the article. It's like, it's okay for some of these thoughts to come. It's natural, if I would say that. Okay, they said he's incompetent, but from a place of being, you have to be intentional. Okay, you think, your mind is telling you that I think they're against me. I think this, I think that. Don't stop there. The mind is generating things. Where we need to come in is that interpretation. You have to get to a place to say, okay, if this is even what you think, if you even think that the old guards are against you, if you even think that this is this, what are you going to do about it? What do you want? What is your end goal? That is when you need to not tell yourself to say, okay, irrespective of what they think, because I cannot even change what they think. I cannot change their thoughts. Let me even assume that they feel that I'm incompetent, morale is low. Then what do I want? That is when you begin to be intentional. Instead of you to run with it and be reacting. And I said, okay, I do want to really lead this CEO, this company. For them to make me the designated CEO, is because they have seen something in me. I'm going to the last question now, saying being the CEO or the knowledge, which is more relevant. It's being the CEO that is more relevant because you can learn along the way if you know that I am the CEO. No president of any country that wins an election know how to run the country completely by winning that election, because there are a lot of things you don't know. For example, if you become the president, there are a lot of briefings that they will begin to tell you. You know that they will be giving you some security briefings, but you've never had those security briefings before. But you run on the basis that I can become the president. You learn along the way. So you need to know that something has been seen in me, that I can be the CEO. If they have seen that you can be the CEO, they also know that you don't know everything. That is why in the first place, something has been said to say in the next 5 years, you need to be mentored. They did not say you become the CEO because you have known everything. It's because they have seen something in you. That is why you were designated as a CEO. And they felt that the knowledge will be relevant to help you do what you need to do. But in the first place, they know you can do it, not because you have the knowledge. So, coming from that place, you need to now sit down. These people are saying, I don't have the knowledge or this. But that is not the reason. It's not because I have the knowledge. That's why I was designated. So if he comes from that place, it's not to ask, what do I want? I want the staff to be more motivated. I want things to start running. It will begin to create new meanings to now say, what do I need to do? It will not decide the actions he needs to take to run the company. But if he dwells on, oh, they are saying I'm incompetent, they are saying I'm not doing very well, he will begin to react from there. But rather, if he comes from the place that I am the CEO, I have what it takes to rule this, that is why I've been designated. This is what is being said right now. What do I want? How do I change this narrative? Ideas will begin to come that will begin to create how he will turn things around. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you so much. Mr. Odunayo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's just to add to what Ms. Jane just said. When I was reading this article, what I try to do when I read these things is to just, take the learnings and apply it on my own self, which is, is easy for us to see the flaws in the mentality of another person than to see ours. But in truth, there's more similarities in humans than differences. So I try to, when I was reading it, I was wondering that, okay, how will I consider myself different from Sam? If I was in Sam's shoes and how he's reacting, what will I do differently? And if I'm planning to be in his shoes, which is to lead an organization, how should we, or what do I need to do differently? And what Ms. Jane just mentioned, about on getting into that space of who you are, and I think that's one thing that these are sessions has really done for us, because there's always that settling of that conversation, which is who are you, and having a personal statement. And I saw how powerful that personal statement can be and how powerful it is, because it gives you a very clear, like you have defined yourself before the environment defines you. You have created yourself before even the CEO role comes. So who you are is not defined by that CEO. You have created yourself. And so there's this series, Games of Thrones. I read the book before I watched the series because I'm not a series person, but I really enjoyed the series because the series, at least up to an extent, did a fine job of replicating the book. But in the series, there was something that happened. A battle was about to be fought, and then one of the guys who, well, most of us did not like, but he said something very, very key. He said that before this battle, everybody is looking at him. They are second guessing him. They are wondering whether he can do it and all of that. He said that's not a problem. He said that people second guessing you is not the problem. He said the problem is when you begin to second guess yourself, then you are done for. And so that was quite instructive. And so for I think the whole thing is, having that personal statement that defines you because you are the CEO. He's not operating from the position of that. He hasn't really seen that, okay, I'm the one who is leading and guiding this organization. So whether they say A or they say B, it doesn't affect the fact that you are in that role, tasked with the responsibility of delivering at that level. So once he's fully, well, for those of us who are Christians, they said, Proverbs says, things that move, things that move with stately pride. He called a few things, and he says, a king who is secure in his kingship. That's things that move with a lot of elegance. He said, a king that is secure in it. So he's not yet secure internally that I'm the CEO. And so that internal thing is being expressed on the outside. So for me, my learning was, which is one thing that we have learned through you when you say it all the time, that if there's any gap, if you sit and you think internally and you see that there's a gap, and that gap is not addressed by your personal statement, then there's a problem. If you say, okay, maybe I want to read and I don't read as much, and that's a gap to you, but your personal statement does not address that, then that's the problem. So if he had this, which is a personal statement that defines him, who he is, it would be easier for him to get into that role. So it's just an encouragement for us to continue this journey of, continue, creating who we are so that we can respond appropriately.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Adunayo. So, you see, I'll tell you, that I put an article out doesn't mean that I know what we would discuss in class. So that's why I posted that much of life is created in conversations. So this particular article, I think for those of us, I think some of us here, not many, Mr. Adunayo is one of them. In 2023, when I was doing these weekly sessions, or is it monthly sessions, I can't remember then. So on doing, not being. So I've done this over promoted. So when after I've sent it, but I just wanted to get out the materials. I was looking for materials that deals with transitions, because sometimes the gap in your being in terms of professionals is more evident in leadership transitions, or in transition from one job to another, or in transition from one company to another. Now, the particular story Tracy Goss told in chapter 2 of The Last Word on Power, he gave the head of an IT in a company, John. He said he has been so successful, and that's the reason the company recruited him. As head of IT in the bank, when they saw what he did, how he built up the IT system from the ground up, they hired him. Tracy Goss said, in this new company, what he did there is not what they require here. He said he will do presentations. He says there is something that it's going to be, I think it's in the page, it's likely to be, let me see, it's likely to be in the page of the last article for the article for next week. So Tracy Goss says, little miss one thing. I've forgotten the name of the insect, came to where she was sitting. Then she beat the insect and ran away. He said, then the last sentence, it has been working ever since. Then she started the chapter. That is how personality starts. So this thing, he said, you did a set of things, and they gave you applause in primary school. And you kept honing, you kept refining how to be that thing. I remember when I was with ABB once, and there was a female staff. There is a particular way she gets attention, and everybody gives her the attention. Now, sometimes it's been working. Yesterday, all of yesterday, Tracy, God's statement, it's been working ever since. Your winning strategy has been working ever since. You interpreted the people, there was no consequence. So you dealt with them as adversaries, there was no consequence. But what I found out, in politics and in life, you will just find out that there's an expiration date for that strategy. That thing that has been giving you this success, there's an expiration date. Now, reinvention, which is much of what the last word on power deals with, reinventing yourself, you begin to see these hidden things. In the case of John, the IT manager, he will give presentations in the new company, they will look blank. When he submitted his budget for the IT department for what they needed to procure for him, the finance people just ignored it and bought what they thought he needed. The guy started looking for a new job. I think, God, may I not be in this situation? When your ego is going and is going, he gave presentation and what is he saying? And this is our IT needs. Now, the first thing is knowing what does your new job require? What is expected of you? And who do you need to be to do it effectively? So as we just go, some of us here know one of my friends called Francis Ebohi. He was in my office 2 weeks ago, and we're having casual conversation. We've been classmates from Uniben, from all successes and failures. And I said to Francis, the greatest failure, I said, I don't think the company, because the guy likes me. I work with a small Irish company, and I was put from Ireland, I was posted to eSuccess as general manager, CEO. I told Francis, I say, I failed the company. He has never heard me say that. I said, I failed the company. I said, everything I was doing in Ireland, that was what I came to replicate in England. I said, yes. I said, but the coincidence is that the failure, the company closed and went bankrupt. It went into bankruptcy in 2008 when Lehman Brothers, there was global financial meltdown. But when I started going through some of these things now, in fact, it is being that started opening my eyes. The thing that gave me success in Ireland, for which I was sent here, was technical expertise. I got to England and I continued the technical expertise. I was looking after products. I was looking after engineering. I was looking after this. The thing that I had expertise in, it's about 6 or 7 months. About the 7th month I had after I'd taken over as GM of the eSuccess office, the finance manager said we cannot pay salaries. We've not paid that. Now, it didn't dawn on me. You know, there's a Bible scripture that says when it dawned on David that God had made him king, it didn't dawn on me that I was CEO. I just felt that if I do all these things right, the other things will run themselves. I had done a lot of things. I have given customers some credit that I didn't even know the financial implications. We can't pay salaries in England. My mind just said, in Nigeria, you can owe salary here. On the 25th, no money will go into the account. Then it was the beginning of my end. And the rest is story of how I left the company. But it was easy. After I've exited, much of it, I'm still friends with the company today, but much of it is like, it was Lehman Brothers. It was not Lehman Brothers. So we we just carry this expertise, like John, the story that Tracy Goss talked about. It just goes with what worked in the bank. This is not a bank now. What does this company want in terms of IT needs? And when they just bought what they needed to buy, the next thing, when he saw that, if you are somebody who is now, as your ego is growing, when it is deflated, you need to be there to know what the experience is like. You just know that, where is the next job? What do I need to do? After giving out this article, I said, this article, I downloaded about 4 transitions, and I've sent it out already, and I've not read it in detail. When I started trying to find questions, I couldn't. I read it, I played it, I use audio a lot. I played it 3 times. Couldn't get one single question on uncovering being. I played it about 8 times finally. Then I started again. I'll tell you the truth. By the time I wrote those questions, if the class didn't hold today, I was a changed person. I said, Tunde, if for every assignment you can go into this self-awareness to really dig into who you are, all the emotions working in you, I said, we run Nigeria and you are sleeping on your bed effortlessly. The being is more important than the doing. The CEO that died didn't know everything. Nobody. Jay was saying they will keep giving you briefing. Correct. Even when you have become this thing, the president, Donald Trump or Tinubu, you will still need to ask the finance minister, and the finance minister will ask the PAMSEC, and the PAMSEC might ask the director of statistics. So you will still need that. The first thing is create yourself and be secured in what you have created, not in your knowledge. One of the commentators, I said, look, there's a difference. I was reading the article again. I said, you will agree with these commentators when you are talking about doing. You should admit that he is incompetent or is unprepared or whatever. I said, no. In being now, I would say it 2 years ago when I was doing this one. No. In being, that is not where I am the CEO. It dawned on David that the Lord has made him king. Not when they anointed him, nothing happened. I remember in one of the battles in 2 Samuel, David said he was so tired. He said, so this is how my life will end. He wasn't seeing anything kingship. That is what stress can do. So this is how my life will end. So finally, Saul will kill me. But one day, after the battles were over, we didn't sit down on him. We just went to relax, tired, forget the promise of God. It was the people who came to meet him that he should be king. Then when they still made him king, it wasn't all. One day it dawned on him that he's king. One day. Now creating yourself in the role. Look, I just, by the 8th time I played the article, I started writing all the questions. I just started writing all the questions. When I finished writing the questions, I said the class did not hold I'm done. I've gotten so much benefit trying to find out what is being in this article. What is being? I said, yeah, transitions bring out flaws a lot. When you change jobs, sometimes you just think that everything you did here for which no, you need to certain things you need to really go settle down. Align who you are being, redesign, reinvent yourself to meet what the new job entails. What do we do? The backlog. Even in relationships, the backlog. What you did here. Sometimes the one you did there that didn't work, you just carry it. Or even the one that worked, you didn't even check the new context. You just carry it. You just keep moving. And when you have your first encounter and people just despise you, that's gibberish. I've employed people before when I was in ABB. The whole reason what made them successful employed, they just learn, they start implementing what they were implementing. I would just say, come. You are not, are you sure you understand the role? Are you sure you understand what this road is about? They say they do. They go on again because I like the word Tracy Gosling. It's been working ever since. It's been working ever since. But now we want to be more intentional. Okay, I don't know who has anything to contribute. If you want to contribute something, the floor is open. Otherwise, I will just see which other question we can look at before we close for today.
I'm ready to contribute something, sir.
Good. Okay, go ahead. After you, Mercy.
Yes, sir. I've actually now scanned through the article, and I was wondering why I didn't even read it thoroughly. Because I mean, this is the story of my life right now. I'm telling you. Okay, so about the new role, I had a direct supervisor. Like, I just been under his mentorship for like 6 months, And then suddenly, he got another role. Jesus. And that means automatically I'm going to now step into his shoes and then still do mine. And his role is like a senior officer position. So everybody wants to get it. People are eyeing it. But if it was like something that they inherit, I'm like next in line on the throne. But the issue here is I haven't even really fully understood mine, and I'm still learning. He's still trying to put me through on some of the things that he does. But he had to live in a space of like 3 weeks. Hey, I was grappling with things, like trying to understand this and that and that and that. And now he's gone for almost another 3 weeks now. I've been there functioning as him and as me. The movie here is people are like, waiting this one, they feel like, I mean, you think you're now Oga now, like, because there's a lot of people involved that were managing, speaking to senior management, speaking to, handling the unskilled and everything. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people trying to undermine my role, people trying to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do in the time that he was around, people trying to access documents that they're not authorized to because I'm the one there. So people are telling me congratulations that, oh, of opening. I'm like, in my head, Chineke, can I do this? Like, it is a lot. I've not been sleeping. It's stressful. It's hectic. But it's I would like to grow, right? So am I even ready for this role? And I mean, I really need to also work on my own being to address the basic questions that I overheard you talk about, like what do I need to do I need to start seeing myself? Because me, I want to run away like this now. I'm ready to resign as it is. Like, I'm already looking for scholarship to run away. I can't. I don't think I can. I don't know. So this is a good like conversation that resonates with me 1000%. I need to know what to do right now. If I can get the audio, so I'm begging, let me listen to it. And so I can hear the commentaries, so I can reinvent myself because I really want this position. Somehow I've been functioning for 3 weeks, but am I really authentic about am I bravadoing through the whole thing? You get? These are the questions I'm asking myself. I've had people question me, the old people that were there since that felt like, who is this one that is coming to challenge our authority? I'm older than her in this place. And then suddenly she's now trying to start issue commands. Meanwhile, of course, officially I'm not in that position, but I'm functioning there. So I'm being undermined left, right, and center and questioned and all that. So I'm literally fighting battles daily. It's as if I'm on the defensive, just like the CEO in the meeting that he had with the old guards, right? Of course, he knows the person that leaked that info, the details of the organization. Is of course the CFO, is clear, but he couldn't even address him because of course he's not seeing himself as a CEO. Honestly, when he got into the position, he felt he was going to be handheld for a period of time, and that also works on your mind. It makes your mind to relax with that covering you have. You're not ready to take responsibility yet, but you're enjoying the benefits of answering the CEO. So somehow, at the time when the Michael man was alive, he was working under the cover of Michael and the affluence and respect of Michael, but he wasn't ready to pull his own weight yet. And he was in shock. He was thrown into the position suddenly, honestly, even though he got the role, but he found himself having to like be open and take charge. So I believe it's a matter of becoming the CEO. For me, I've not gotten the role yet, but it's a matter of becoming this officer prior to it being officially done. That's seen the end before it gets there. But how? It's easy to say these things, but do the actual work. Hey, the actual work is not easy. I can't even think straight. I can't read. My head is aching all the time. I'm stressed. I'm tired. How will I now assess myself? As it is, I'm channeling my energy to look for how to run away and jackpot because I'm tired. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so outside of this class, before you jackpot, before you stay, I am ready to work with you on this new role one-on-one. So we'll talk about that outside the class. Mercy, the floor is yours.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Yeah.
Okay, so
Good morning, sir. Mercy, so sorry. Sorry for interrupting you. I'm so sorry for being rude. But I may not be able to speak after. I just wanted to tell Oge that I'll be sending my account number for her new role.
Meg now.
All right. Okay, Mercy, go ahead. Sorry.
okay, so okay, let me just start with the article, right? So there's a lot of suggestions. You have to carry everybody along, and then maybe even play along with their beliefs and fear, or even play weak as it were. So I'll just say that Dan, the new CEO, I think he was someone who has a bit of an understanding of who he is in his previous role, right? Apparently, he was succeeding and was doing very well. For him to even be spotlighted for the role of CEO. So he had a grasp of his personality. He had a grasp of his speed. However, this new role has kind of shaken him, right? Like him second guessing himself if he's fit based on the scenario. You mentioned something right now, just now, that there's no reality anywhere. But I think I kind of understand what you're saying, in the sense that whether or not he had occupied that role, the present role before or not, it's not the issue. Like some of the commentators mentioned, even if he had been mentored for 5-10 years, right, he will still face challenges. He will still have to stand up and man up to that role. So the point is not what he has done or what he hasn't done. The point is who he is, like his being and his ability to take up his personality in that way. So I would say that he should just focus on what works for him. So if he's not trying to fill anybody's shoe, he's CEO and he's trying to be CEO. That should be his focus. He's not trying to fill up the shoe of the previous CEO. He should examine himself. What can he do? Now, what can he do, or what he can do may be absolutely different from what has been done before. And so that is where he may now have to toughen his skin to stand by what he believes he can do, whether or not he has the full support of everybody. And like the other commentator said, he will need the support of the executive, right? So if he has to do, and that's a tough one, but he should be able to take that, and he should be ready for any consequence. So this blame game he's trying to do right now, it's not going to work as a CEO. So he should take his decision, stand by it, and face whatever consequence, hoping for the best. So he should create his own solution. Okay, right now I think he already has a solution. Actually, he already believes that quality should come first before cost. Right? That is a vision. That is a goal. So he should set the structure that helps him achieve that goal, and he can't do that alone, certainly. So he needs a team. So if he sees that he's not getting that support, he should bring in people that will help him create that structure to achieve that goal. He already has a vision for the company, and what he needs right now, it's a team that will help him, that will align with his vision, and together they will achieve that goal. So I would just say that being in that new role, it's bringing yourself into that new role and achieving. So I'll use an illustration. It's a really tough one, to be very honest. But okay, so I had an experience where I was still in Benin, right? So I was working as communications officer for the Office of the Media Project, special advisor to the Edo State government, right? So I've been doing my own freelancing team before I got called up for that position. So it was kind of a battle between me and the people there. Like, this guy does not have, and they were right to some extent. I didn't have any experience with corporate government. I was just doing my own stuff. I think I was pretty doing well. So nobody was giving me any chance to even prove myself. They were just blocking me left. Like, I was just there. I knew I could do more, but I was just there. I could not do nothing, right? And I could not really bring this up to my boss because I felt like, okay, maybe I'm just here to learn. And my boss made me also feel that I'm here to learn how to work in the corporate space and all of that. So I said, okay, let me just be here, even though I was not comfortable. But I think God saw my heart, saw the sincerity of my heart, and somehow, by divine providence, He just pushed me up to a better role, right? So I was recommended by somebody I didn't even know was in the government house, like somebody I had worked with before. The person saw me, I didn't even know, and recommended me to the office of the head of service that this person is good. Let her come and handle your media space. And boom, that's how I became senior special assistant to the Edo State government, working under the office of the head of service. So now I was in a position where there was nobody that was supervising me. So I had to bring in my own team, video editors, graphic designers. I had to bring in everything. And so somehow these other guys, because the office was closed, because the office of the media project kind of managed every media, but not fully. So each offices and each ministries also had their own media team. So they tried to make me feel like, what can you do? So they had their own structure, which I already copied. In fact, there were a lot of things that I took from them that they didn't even know that I had access to. I gathered everything because I thought I was going to need it somewhere. So when I was leaving, they tried to block everything. I was just looking at them, things that I've already gathered since and kept somewhere, But then they said that I was going to use that structure they already created. But when I got to the new position, I was like, I don't think I want to use that structure. Because first and foremost, I was on the other side. The previous class the other time was talking about you being a spectator. It's very different from being a participator. At some point, I was on the spectator side. So when I became a participator, like active participant now, it was very different. So I looked at it very well, both from the angle of being a spectator and now being in active participation. I felt like that structure that they were using were not going to work for me right now. Even though that was the only thing I knew when I came in, like that was what I thought I was going to use. But I just knew that this thing is not going to work. So I switched to what I knew that I was comfortable with, what I knew that I've always been doing, right? Which was not the conventional, because this was the government space, and government, they like corporate, but I'm handling the social media presence, right? The digital media, new media, that was what I was handling, and I wanted to work with what I knew I was comfortable with, and that was what I did. And guess what? In 3 months, in fact, Lex, actually, we dominated the entire system. Like, my boss, who was literally unknown in the government space, because he too was a young man, right? I think the youngest so far that has been in that position as head of service. He became popular. I mean, the things that he was doing, I started writing about it, talking about it, making videos about it, and a lot of people didn't even know that there was so much ongoing in the department. So people started talking, people started commenting him, people started calling him, people. So I became like, even though I was kind of hiding because I didn't really want people, but at a point I knew that there was nothing like hiding here. People, because at a point he was also scared. Like, he didn't want to be, and sometimes when we do things, he's like, no, you know that this is government. I said, these things we are doing, we are not lying about anything. This is what is going on. And one time he sent me a screenshot from the governor that this is what the governor just said, that the governor just commended his work. So what am I saying? There will be challenge. Even at that office, I still had to face some challenge. Of course, I still had to face a challenge. This small girl that just came, those kind of things, there were a lot of that. And I must be very, very frank here now, that I did not know how to manage that part. I just wanted to do my thing and I really didn't care. But I think there's also a point where you have to still carry people along. But it should not be at the detriment of your being, because that's what is important. That's what is most important. But there must still be that balance, because at the end of the day, it's more about people than the work itself. So yeah, that's the point. This
Okay.
is the point of learning, and I'm here to also learn and grasp as much as I can. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mercy. Thank you very much. So the time is fast spent, but I'll tell you, like I said earlier, just trying to unearth who the ancestor was. He did a lot to me. See, he did a lot to me, and I'll tell you, it's just try and walk through the cases. Don't If we all walk through the cases, you see differences in classes. I like classes where everybody wants to talk at the same time. Then we've gone through this thing. There's something in you. Life is created in conversations. And I will tell you, if you just begin to learn, it's not out there, it's in here. In any confrontation, do be looking at inside you. That's what they call self-awareness and be looking at your drivers. No, it's not. What they are doing is nothing. What is driving you? Oge says, I'm thinking of already Jack by. You are saying that I have reached the limit of my being. You have not reached it. It's reinvention. The context, the old context we bust. It's about giving way. The old context of who you are, that even brought you up to where you are. Like Michael Goldsmith who said in his famous book, which is, there's an article on it in most MBA schools worldwide. What brought you here won't take you there. It won't. So the thing that brought you to where you are won't take you to where you are going to. And when they see the being that brought you to where you are now, they use it to promote you. Just know that this new one requires reinvention. Now, if you see, the board member told the ancestors, just always talk with your coach. That is what a coach will help you do. Help you see what you are not seeing. It is some of the things I was learning from Tracy Goss. See, it's very, I don't know how many of us have not just read this article, watched this video. It was common a few years ago. What is water? Two fish are swimming in the river, and an older fish is swimming in the opposite direction. And the older fish said, hello, boys, how is the water? And the two fish asked themselves, what is water? Dan Foster Wallace, who wrote the article and who gave it as a commencement speech in the US, Foster Wallace said, something that is so obvious to everybody, you that is there, everybody is seeing it. Everybody is seeing your winning strategy, but you don't know your winning strategy. Self-awareness and being their key. Everybody is seeing your limitations except you. You are just repeating what gave you success. But that this is not what is needed here. You just moved from GT Bank to Zenith. They are both banks, MDM, COZO. What is required here may not be what is required here. And I'll tell you, 99%, not 100%. What is required here is not what is required here. And if you bring this being, you just see that it's not doing any of the things for which we brought it. Why did they require? Why was the vacancy? What exactly? Internalize it. Read the job description again. Go beyond the words. Then invent yourself and see yourself as the person. You are seeing that where you see differences with the old one, you are adjusting who you are being. The old, no, you are adjusting the being. Will there be confrontations? Like Mercy said, there is nowhere there will be no confrontation. You will continually be interpreting because there is a person in you that cannot stop talking. Doesn't. Before you look at something he has spoken, before you see somebody has spoken, before you look at people's eyes, the thing has spoken. That person is your being, but it is not you. You are the observer of your being. When you now go inward, now if you just make the mistake of reacting, then sometimes you get it wrong. But if you want to, you see what we are learning, I'll tell you, is doing a lot to me. It's one of the questions that we didn't get to. Fear is more motivating than love. When I saw that, I said, these are tools. When you see yourself as CEO, one of the commentators said, when you've really seen, I am the CEO. Then when you're not the CEO, you'll be looking for permission to lead. I am the CEO. It's not from an arrogant position. When I failed woefully in his success, 3 weeks later, I got an opportunity to repent. And I got a general manager position in Belfast. One of the old guards, a British guy would just see me. Oh, like, where did this guy came? Where did he come from? When I asked him for him to come, it was GM Commercial, to come and brief me on what he was doing. He was telling me to come to his office. I am GM CEO, you are GM Commercial. You report to me. After some persuasions, he came over. When he came over, I just said, I'm not going to waste my time. The last place I wasted my time. A week later, I've laid him off. And when I targeted the head of the most senior person in the old guard, the company just self-corrected. All those ones, there are some of the people reporting to them, so they are just talking anyhow. When you know you are the CEO, if you just tell them, if this is what I want, this is my priority quality. If you are not ready for this first, you can begin to think of a new job for you. You send a message. It's either going to readjust or he starts looking for a new job. And once you do one, nobody will undermine your authority again. From when I joined Titan Precast in Belfast as general, from when I got rid of the first guy, there was no, oh God. I said, I wish I did this thing in his success. I won't be here. I lost so much in his success that I don't want to go into. Now, but if we start learning, look in here. If you are on doing, you will fail. If you are on being, who am I being? Who am I being? What is the end goal? What is the end goal at the end of all this shenanigans? At the end of all this meaning making, what do I want? And I will tell you what you want is what God wants. And we'll go into it in weeks to come. Thank you so much. And thank you for making today's class happen and helping us to create today's class. I'll see you next Saturday. By the grace of God, before Wednesday, what we'll be dealing with next Saturday will have been posted in the group. Okay, we can talk outside this when you are free, but you need to reinvent yourself and we can do it together. Thank you so much. See you next Saturday.
Thank you, sir. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Send a message.
Thank you so much,
Respond
sir.
to.
Sorry?
I sent you a message. You're yet to respond to, sir.
Okay, I'll respond to it. I've not read it. Let me. Okay.
Thank you, sir.